You once said that all of us, to some degree, are influenced by the demonic element, without exception. Could you explain how this demonic influence manifests in us?
First of all, of course, the demons act only after studying us. How many years have I known you? And how long have the demons known humanity from the very beginning? Fallen angels do not die. Over centuries they accumulate experience in working with us. We each gain experience beginning at a certain age, learning from others and from ourselves. But the demon has no beginning. For him, every human life is not a beginning. The beginning was back at the fall of man. And since then, he has only, therefore he sees us well, because our very nature is fallen. And so at first he does not act directly. He tempts us in other ways. He stirs up certain passionate desires in us. He draws our attention to corrupt things, and through that, he pushes us towards sin. He helps arrange things so that openly vicious people influence us so that they start conversations near us or do sinful things in front of us. Because if we were to notice clearly, we are all very proud. If we were to notice violence against our will coming from outside, even from the devil, we would be on guard. But instead it seems as if it is our own desire, coming from us, from our own will, and he plays on that. But when people go far into sin, people become serious slaves of a particular passion, then the demon no longer needs to be subtle. He can appear directly, grab them by the tail, and drag them to hell. For example, it's a well-known fact, not a secret, that people who fall far into drug or alcohol addiction experience a condition that in our culture we call the delirium tremens, when the little white demons come. And what is that? People of all kinds, from different regions, different levels of education, different life experience, see and hear the same thing in that state. They see demons as if alive, appearing in person and dragging everyone in the same direction through suicide into hell. One strategy, one handwriting, because there is one author, even if the people are different, and the goal is the same, through suicide, into hell forever. There, nothing is hidden anymore. The demon acts openly. But at the beginning he wears a disguise, like a partisan, so as not to frighten a person. It happens like in the gospel story of the Gerasene demoniac. There we see an obvious form of possession, but the gospel doesn't tell us about his earlier life. What was it like? If we judge according to God's truth and sacred scripture, the demon has that kind of power over a person who has reached an extreme state of sin. What happened to that man earlier? What had he done? The gospel doesn't say, because that is not the point. The point is the power of the Son of God over the demons, even over diabolic power. That is the main purpose of the story. Does the Lord sometimes intervene directly in a person's life and perform astonishing things, real miracles, both joyful and, to us, seemingly sorrowful? Yes, he does. We know, for example, from the history of our church, the case of Motovilov, who left his written conversations with Saint Seraphim of Sarov. He was possessed for a long time, but not because of sin. He was troubled by doubts in his reflections. How can a demon affect a person who prays, receives communion, confesses, fasts, and in the midst of those doubts he became possessed? I think there is something important shown there. We are approaching the times about which Scripture directly says that at the end the restraining power of God, which has been holding back all this demonic activity, will no longer function. The Lord will allow it. As our saints said, demons will come out of hell into the world. Perhaps Motovilov is a kind of living prophecy of the times to come. Therefore, again, I say, in the gospel story of the Gadarene healing, we see a brutal form of possession and terrifying numbers, a legion of demons. A legion is a Roman military unit, 6,000 soldiers, meaning thousands of demons. Either this is the result of very heavy sin, or a very rare divine permission. Very rare. But for us, the main thing is something else, not the why and how of it. In light of our sinfulness, none of this is surprising. What matters is, where is the way out? In my ministry, people come with this sort of problem. Why is this happening to us? I almost never answer that in detail. In general terms, why? Because of sin. If a person begins trying to analyze every little detail, he can get lost and confused. I say, that is not what matters most. Not why, but how to get out, and how never to go back. The power that cleanses a person and frees him from the torment and chains of demonic influence is Christ. He is the answer. That is what matters.
Это главное.